Welcome to Inspired Messages. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time, please subscribe to this channel. And if it's not, or whether it is or not, hit the like button and share. Today, we discuss the second stage of spiritual alchemy, the stage of dissolution. In the first phase, we received a wake-up call from Spirit, and we were left with the ashes of what previously defined us, or what we perceive to define us. That was the calcination stage. In the dissolution stage, it deals with water washing away the ashes. Spiritually, this brings emotions to the surface, especially the dark or shadow ones. The work here is to accept all of the emotions and dive into the energy of emboic. Emboic means in the belly of the mother, because that is where seeds are beginning to stir. Water in the belly asks that we blend into the solvent, the liquid that contains and support us. Water is love, unity, connection, and grace to loosen our boundaries and do so more easily without being locked into our identities. In this stage, fear also resurfaces. When I say resurfaces, it's still, it's still visible. And when it does appear, it may feel overwhelmed, we may feel lost, confused, desolate, and abandoned, or even lifeless. It is easy in this stage to take to forms of escapism and addiction. Now remember, in the calcination stage, people are left in sort of like a crisis, because that's the initial relief, which becomes comes to us as a saving grace, restoring hope in something, helping us to feel good. Or sometimes it may return, sometimes people may return to their original state, because this is not easy. These transformational processes are not easy. And so without an identity or a sense of foundation, it becomes a trap. And many people turn to drugs, alcohol, sex, they overeat. Some people sleep, they become depressed, they fall into depression. And during this time, we may also have wild ideas and flurries that come to us. But the important thing is that we need to understand that when these ideas come to us during these stages, we have to substantiate them with a higher idea. And so therefore, without the element of higher consciousness as support, our ideas become distortions, and rather than inspire, they collect dust. So the goal here in this stage is to not give in to these escapes. It is best to listen and observe. However, the emphasis here is to pay attention to these ideas. It is a transcendent idea and service. And what happens is you begin to become aware that you have a service to something larger than your limited sense of self. This ideal, it becomes expansive, encompassing, uplifting, energizing, and loving. And it brings focus regularly back to the big picture, so we can stare through the opening of the matrix and fall in love with having more. And this more, as this love begins to flow through our daily lives, it inspires us, and it inspires our actions and motivates our practical choices. It also guides us to find a consistent pattern, which begins to influence all aspects of our life. And we begin to develop a manifestation of this greater sense of love. And we feel, and it helps us feel this greater sense of love towards the creative principle in all things and our desire to know even more. Because it's like once you begin to go through these stages, when you start to feel the uplifting, the encompassing, the expansive feeling of love, you want more and more and more. And so it's important during this stage to develop a pattern or a ritual that we remain consistent with, or else we won't have the energy or motivation to continue the journey of transformation. And ways that you can find, that you can develop these patterns or rituals is the creative and spiritual ways, where you begin to journal, praying, chanting, painting, dancing, music, theater, connecting with nature, and meditating. These are all avenues for finding and keeping that alignment with your with your inner nature or your intuition. Or you can simply ask verbally as an inquiry to one's higher self or infinite intelligence, and then notice the signs of synchronicity which begin to take place. Now, whether you ask or whether you go through the creative processes of chanting or journaling and dancing, you're going to begin to have or be aware of synchronicities. And as these synchronicities begin to take place, you become more aware of infinite intelligence and its expression. And so recording these experiences will be helpful tools to remind us that reality is not what we've been told. And we begin to develop our own reality, and thus cycle through the stage of dissolution. Stay tuned for the discussion on the third stage of alchemy, the stage of separation. Thank you for listening, and until next time, one love.